Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Nikki with Sewing My Style, and this continues the series on zippers. And this one is your separating zipper, as what you would use on a jacket or a top or a coat. Enjoy. Here is a separating zipper. So we're going to put this in, and let me show you the properties of a separating zipper and putting it into a garment. Imagine you're making a jacket. This is the neckline of a jacket, and this is the bottom. Okay, the zipper is going to separate, and whatever you're doing at the bottom, there may be a hem, there may be a seam there. It just depends. So you want to leave whatever seam amount there is when you're inserting the zipper. You want to leave that seam allowance, that hem allowance, whatever is necessary based on that garment at the bottom, because essentially it's going to do that. So the separation will be really clean. Okay, in a separating zipper, you always adjust the zipper from the top. You can always cut, you can always shorten the zipper depending on how far up the neckline is, because when you zip it up, however the garment is stitched, it'll stop. So there's no flexibility in shortening the bottom because that's the separation mechanism. But there is flexibility to shorten your zipper at the top. So what we're going to do, we're going to insert the zipper. I'm going to show you how, and don't be alarmed that it's longer, because that's the nature of putting in a separating zipper, that you can shorten it from the top. So our first step is to mark where our bottom is going to be. Okay, we're going to do one at a time. All right, so if we've got let's say we've got a 1/2 inch hem at the bottom, I'm going to mark right here, and that's where we're going to stop. If you can see this, yeah, we're going to mark right here, and that's where we're going to stop with the bottom of the zipper, and the same for the other side. 1/2 inch. All right, so let's just do one side at a time. And the first thing you're going to do is lay the zipper face down. If this is the outside of your fabric, you're going to lay the zipper face down, lined up with your mark at the bottom. And you're going to pin it edge to edge of the zipper tape to the edge of the fabric, with the zipper head face down right at our bottom mark. Now let's talk about best practices. So I've zipped the zipper all the way up, and I've put straight pins edge to edge, lining up the zipper with the edge of the fabric. Left it at our mark because that's going to be the hemmed side, and I put straight pins all the way down. I want to keep my straight pins in the middle. I want to keep the zipper tape very flat. If you put your pins like this, you will take it out before you get to it. You don't want to stitch over it, so because that will skip your stitches. So keep them in straight, and then you can stitch and take the pins out as you go. Plus, you can get far enough up on the pin. You can get pretty far up. You can stitch pretty far up so that you don't have to take it out to the last minute, and the zipper tape doesn't shift on you. The pin keeps it in place while you're stitching. Okay, just a little tip. So I'm going to start stitching right at the top of the garment, and keep my tape really consistent with the edge of the fabric, letting the zipper foot stay right where it is on the edge. Taking the pins out as I go, get as close as possible without hitting the pin. so that your zipper tape doesn't shift on you. Come on down. And when you get to the bottom, this edge of the zipper tape is kind of like a plastic. Just go slowly over it and just make sure your needle does go over it, and do a back stitch so you can have it secure. Okay, so there's your stitch all the way down. And there's the bottom. This is what your first side of your separating zipper looks like. Imagine this is a jacket or a top or whatever it is that you're stitching. And remember, there's the excess because that's going to be a hem. Isn't that handsome? All right, now we're going to do the second side. This is the right side of your fabric. Here's the right side. What you want to do is line it up, flip it over, and make sure you are lined up. This is the right side of the fabric to the right side of the zipper. Ignore your first piece, except you want to make sure it's lined up all the way down. And remember your mark. Remember your mark at the bottom. I just want to make sure we got it lined up correctly, because we're going to pin. Do the same thing we did before, except this time we're going to go to the other side of the zipper foot, because we're going to stitch down. It's really key with the zipper that you stitch down the same direction on both sides, because if you've got a jacket or a top, it's really important that you want to, you know, have your zipper not shift on you. All right, I turn my zipper around. For those of you who have another zipper foot, just flip it over to the other side. And I'm going to start stitching at the top of the garment. And make sure I line my zipper foot up on the edge of the tape so I can have a straight stitch. Go down, coming as close to the pins as possible so your fabric doesn't shift on you. Slowly over the bottom plastic. There you go. Got both sides in. So here's your separating zipper. This is the wrong side, and you can press these seams down if you like. And this is what it looks like. Isn't that nice? And there's the bottom. So depending on how what your pattern calls for, you'll probably stitch this up and do a top stitch. You probably do a top stitch all the way up to the other bottom. There you go. It looks really handsome. And then whatever your neckline looks like, whatever that neckline looks like, you're probably going to put a facing here. Just undo the zipper, finish off however that neckline is supposed to look, and then just reinforce it, because this will probably be a seam allowance, and just really come across here on the zipper tape. You can take your utility scissor, and I'm not going to cut this for real because this is not my utility scissor, but if you can notice, you can go in between, especially with a zipper with wide teeth like this, you can go in between the teeth, but make sure you're far enough away from your seam, because you've had plenty of zippers come loose, and you know what happens when a zipper is broken. The zipper pull comes right off. So just be careful there. Just knowing that you can always adjust a separating zipper from the top.